Hi, my name is Jonathan Kaftzan. I'm leading the marketing for the Amdocs Services business group. And in my presentation today, I will show and demonstrate how today CSPs are using and leveraging managed services to enable greater business results. Hi everyone, my name is Jonathan. I'm leading the services organization for Amdocs Services business group. I want to start by saying that Chris brought up a very interesting topic about the connection between the telecom industry and the IT industry, and the junction and the linkage between those industries. And I think that this is actually where Amdocs really operates and lives, is in that connecting point between those industries. And this is what we have been doing in the last 30 years. We have started in the Yellow Pages industry and then evolved into the communication telecom industry in the 90s. And we have been providing IT services and managed services from the time when we were established. So we have a pretty well perspective on how this market has evolved throughout the years. And today we work with almost all of our customers in those kind of models. And I will share with you some of the examples of our customers and how they are leveraging managed services today to achieve business results. So I would like to start by capturing some of the challenges we believe that drive and sometimes even force a service provider today to choose managed services. So some of the things were already said, so I will go to that very quickly. But on one hand, the market growth is slowing down, right? Alarms talk about it, and with developed markets, wireless growth has been decreased in 2013 by 0.7%. Voice and SMS are declining, and in the last quarter in North America, data ARPU surpassed voice ARPU for the first time. So this is a huge challenge that our service provider is facing. But on the other hand, the investment those companies are putting in is still very high. So for example, mobile CapEx is estimated to grow by 8.7% by the year 2017. They still need to invest in new technologies like LTE, still need to modernize your BSS OSS system in order to monetize data, in order to provide better customer experience. But on the same page, are these investments are going to return itself, right? So nobody knows. There is an unclarity if those investments in the new technology the companies are bringing in, will any of those will be the next big thing like voice and SMS? That's a question right now. For example, the machine-to-machine ARPU in North America is less than $12 today. So probably a few years from now, it will even decrease, right? So if the investment that we are putting today in machine-to-machine is going to return itself, nobody really knows, right? So that's probably, I think, those are the challenges today that the service provider are facing. And only to summarize those main drivers and forces. So communication service provider need to be more efficient in what they're doing today, need to be more lean, and of course reduce their cost of operation. They need to maintain and improve customer experience and satisfaction. It's no secret that the telecom industry churn is one of the highest there is, and service providers are struggling with that, trying to improve that, and at the same time, drive growth and bring in innovation and improve the revenue. But probably the biggest challenge is that they have to face everything together. It's like an equation they need to solve, and it's a complex equation. And I believe these are the forces or the drivers that today are making those companies go to a managed services model. Because in the end, this model can help them, first of all, reduce the risk that they are facing. It can share the investment and can help them focus on really what is important to their business. So, similar to what Alam has showed earlier, three phases we believe that the managed service industry has gone through. Alan called it last week, probably later than that, but cost and efficient was the main driver, what he called the mess for less, labor-based models. But if you take, for example, an average deal of 5 to 7 years, you can think about the next phase. Then companies started to understand that on top of the cost reduction, they can ask for more. They can actually ask for improving their operational SLIs, their operational KPIs and SLAs. And they were looking for expertise. They were looking for more professional IT person that they can work with, and they were expecting their partners, their vendors, to bring them in, right? Then where we believe today is about the growth and innovation. Again, it was discussed earlier today. So models like IP software-based sourcing versus the labor-based sourcing are models that we are seeing today becoming more and more popular. How you can help me automate my IT operation today, not just bringing cheaper labor, right? Business outcome enablement was discussed, and of course the cloud is part of that. I would like to present now a few examples from our experience with customers around the globe, and to show you how we believe CSPs are facing the challenge that I talked earlier, and what are the benefits and results they are getting out of it. I will talk specifically about Vodafone, AT&T, and another customer for North America. But just to mention a few of the logos that you see here, Metro PCS is an interesting example. It was recently acquired by T-Mobile US, but before that, Metro PCS had IT cost of 2% out of their revenue, even less than that. I think this is one of the industry-leading IT costs there is. And one of the main reasons for that was the approach and the scope of the managed services they decided to go with. We are their partner in the BSS, OSS domains, and we are actually running for them the entire infrastructure from the data center itself. We are hosting in a private cloud mode their application. We are managing the entire application for them, and we're also running some of their key business process for them. So basically, Metro PCS is maintaining the direct contact with their own customers while we are doing the rest. Out of an organization of 4,000 people, Metro PCS has about 80 IT persons, employees. That's it. I think this is like a very lean kind of operation, right? So that's an example of Metro PCS. Again, another example would be Globe, an operator in the Philippines. They embarked on a strategy to become a much more customer-centric company. And a key part of that was to transform their BSS, OSS, and data warehouse BI application and infrastructure in order to provide an end-to-end 360 customer view. Amdocs is the prime SI and the prime integrator, the prime vendor in running this program for them. So we are doing, we are transforming and modernizing their system to Amdocs system, but not only. We are also managing other vendors through Globe and bringing in those new platforms that Alam talked about. It's in the importance of being able to bring other platforms, other systems, in order to bring greater value. So another interesting example. Vodafone Group, on the group level, decided to become much more centralized and unified in the way it's operates. The main target was to provide a consistent customer experience across the market through a standardized service level agreements, right? But still keep the flexibility and the customization that each market needs in order to be more successful in its own market. So a key part of that was the way they run and manage their IT. Amdocs was chosen to be a strategic partner and vendor in the customer care and billing domains. And in order to do so, we established a dedicated development and service center for Vodafone. It's a one center that serves the entire the local markets Vodafone has in Europe. So we're already operating Vodafone Germany, Vodafone Netherlands, and Vodafone UK from that specific center, making sure that all the KPIs, SLAs are unified, and everybody works according to the same processes and standards. And of course, more are to come, and the rationale here is simple. As more operators will join the center, the efficiency and the profitability will become greater for the entire group, right? So this is an interesting model, and innovation is part of it because it's in a way it's a unique and innovative model that the group decided to go with in order to become much more standard in the way they operate. This center is part of our global operation network. Today we have about 10 centers, managed services centers throughout the globe. And what's unique about this network, that it's not working according to the traditional model of an on-site, offshore model. Today, all of the centers that you see here are aligned, linked, working on the same IT service management platforms according to the same processes which are based on IT. And that brings us to a point that we can serve and operate each of our customers, no matter where it's based. That the value that we are bringing to our customers, that they can have the right knowledge required with the right expert to the specific problem that they have. They don't need to rely on specific group of people that are dedicated to them anymore. We can bring the specific knowledge that is required from any of those centers. We can scale up and scale down very quickly regarding the labor and the expert that we have, and we can share the knowledge across those customers. Now, I would like to demonstrate that in a short, real-life scenario that we prepared.
It's 2:30 a.m. in the Amdocs U.S. Command and Control Center in Champaign. The Amdocs U.S. Command and Control Center night shift spots a potential problem. A network switch is not sending event records from the network elements. The Amdocs predictive monitoring tool kicks in, and the screen shows the number of transactions falling, as well as the number of errors rising. Because it's still the middle of the night, the U.S. Center experts are not available to handle the problem. Therefore, the night shift initiates a follow-the-sun process to identify an expert elsewhere around the globe. In the Amdocs India hub, the incident is automatically allocated to an expert with the most appropriate skill set. The Amdocs Unified Ticketing System automatically extracts potential solutions from the Amdocs Global Database based on similar incidents experienced with our worldwide customer base. The Amdocs Unified Global Platform enables Amdocs global knowledge to be shared via experts collaboration. Clicking on a particular expert alerts that expert that his help is required, paving the way for a fruitful and dynamic solution for the problem. The owner of the incident analyzes the root cause of the problem and creates a debriefing document. We inform the client that a problem has been spotted and solved, often before the client knows there was a problem in the first place. A knowledge article is added to all the other solutions in the global database, turning your IT into a competitive edge. Amdocs Global Strategic Sourcing, a truly global operation.
So innovation is not only on the product side or the technology. Innovation can be also in the way that you operate, in the way that you serve the customer on a daily basis, right? So that was an example of how we do the things today. In how we help our customer to improve their customer experience, I would like to highlight one specific area that we have decided in last year to get into and develop solutions and services around, which is the order to activation. Probably it's no secret that order to activation today is one of the most critical business process service providers are running, right? But we all know that this process in many cases has many issues and challenges. I can give you my personal experience. I was a customer for a cable company in Israel for 5 years, and throughout that time, every time that I ordered a new service or product, the technician got to the wrong address, right? But don't get me wrong, the bill got to the right address, the technician didn't, right? And I knew that this is going to happen, and every time that I ordered the technician, I had to ask for his mobile phones to tell him, no, don't go that address, and go to that address. So I'm sure that everybody that in this room has a similar experience when it comes to communication service provider. And the reason for that the problem for this process to be broken is we are talking about here a process that runs across organization in the CSP, from IT to business and back, network, and there is no clear accountability in many cases of who owns that process in the CSP. In many cases, when there are problems between systems, you pour in people, labor, in order to fix integration or to bypass problems. And also, when you're working with SIs, on that specific process, the typical model that is being used is BPO. Now, traditional BPO model is based on the fact that you are getting paid by the number of people you have. So basically, the incentive of a traditional BPO player is to have as many problems and issues and fallouts he can get, right? Because this is how he gets his revenue. He's getting per head. So there is no real incentive to fix that problem. So, and the outcomes are amazing. We checked that with Heavy Rig and Yankee Group, and up to $300, that's the cost of fallout if it required rollout or technician visit. Up to 30% of the total orders service provider are handling are fallouts and has issues with them. Up to 40% of the revenue leakage is attributed to the ordering process. And one of the customers told us that if an order passed due, meaning that if I'm expecting as a customer for the technician to be at my house at a certain day and time, and the technician is not there, there is 60% that the order will be canceled. That's amazing. It's about $52 billion. This is the estimated loss of this industry when it comes only to order to activation. So we have decided to solve that problem. And the way that the approach we took here was not to replace systems and application and infrastructure in order to solve it. Because time here to value is critical. If a customer will understand that it will take him 1 to 2 years to replace system and application, and only another few months until it will be stabilized, then that is not going to work. So we came up with a solution that can optimize, become more efficient on the current landscape and environment our customer has. The solution is built on an order management center, an OMC, that is a dedicated group of people, an expert, O2A experts, that are allocated to the specific customer. And their job is to bring in tools that Amdocs have developed, but also third-party tools and partners that we are working with in order to solve this issue, working according to best practices and processes in order to solve that. But the other side of the solution is the business model. And as I described below, the current BPO is not working anymore. We are committed here to specific business KPI, like fallouts, cancel order, technician visit, flow through, etc. And we are getting paid by the improvement that we bring on those KPIs. And we take the end-to-end accountability on the process from the minute the order was captured to the minute the order is activated. So there is one vendor, one throat to choke, or we prefer one cheek to kiss, right? So that's a solution that we launched last year, and it became very, very popular with our customers. Here is an example of a tier 2 operator in the United States that during a transition from legacy system to a modernized system and platform, the number of orders that were fallouts, the order backlog was huge. It was dramatic, and it impacted his customer experience. Customer really called to yell why we are not getting our order as agreed, and we're talking here about wireless provider. The SI that it was working with was a local SI, working on a manual-based operation, meaning ticket by ticket, fallout by fallout, no automation at all in the process, and the missing the end-to-end accountability that I mentioned. In 5 weeks, we were able to reduce the order backlog by 65% using the tools, the technology, the processes, the experts that I talked about, while the number of subscribers on the new modernized system was increasing by 10 times more. And that's amazing. And today the customer has over 99% order flow through, meaning orders that doesn't have manual intervention with those orders. And the average handling time for critical stock order was reduced from days to hours. And the key part here, by the way, is to understand what are the fallouts and the issues that really has an impact on the customer and what not, and to really prioritize what you automate and what you are putting the focus on. The last example I would like to share is AT&T. AT&T decided last year to get into a market and segment that it didn't really have a footprint in, and it's the low-cost prepaid market in the United States, which is a market that is growing very, very fast in the United States. And AT&T decided to do so by launching a second brand they called IO. Now, AT&T had two main options to choose from. Either to deploy the entire IT backend system and infrastructure on their own premises, using their own labor, people, and applications, or to work with a partner that can help them do that probably faster and cheaper. They decided the second option, and they choose our compact convergent solution, which is delivered through an hosted private cloud in Amdocs data center. And we were able to do that very, very fast. So it's a cloud solution in Amdocs data center. And it's a BSS platform that is tailored to small carriers, small operators. And a different customer that is similar to that is Mobilicity from Canada. And he told us, he chose a similar solution. He told us, when you're building a business like this one, you can choose 2 out of the 3, right? If you look at what are the 3 main things that you are looking at, is cost, quality, and time. You usually can have only 2 out of the 3, right? If you want to be on quality on time, you need to pay for it, right? If you want the cost to be lower and you want the quality, it will take time, right? You always need to choose what are the most important 2 out of those 3. We believe that in this type of a solution, you don't have to choose, right? You can achieve all those 3, and we believe that we did that in that specific case. So I would like to end with a few words about who we are. Amdocs is a company that you probably know builds BSS and OSS system and platforms. Some of them are probably the best in the world. But we also have an IT services business and also managed services operation business. This is us being an SI. This is us being a managed services provider. And those 2 businesses are really, really big for Amdocs. Managed service today is more than 52% of our annual revenue. We've been doing that, as I said, for more than 30 years. Today we support over 500 million subscribers in our managed services model. And we're managing thousands of applications for our customers. It could be either Amdocs or third party or legacy. We're not only doing managed services on our own platforms and products. And today we provide end-to-end managed services suite, as I said, from data centers, cloud services, to managing the entire application for our customers, to running some critical business processes like the order to activation that I described before. Thank you very much.